Okay, welcome to our first session of the Learn and Earn with AI workshop. And this session one is all about just the basics of AI. So, getting started with using it in your business, understanding it. A lot of what we'll talk about will be AI literacy. So, making sure that you understand what AI is, the tools that you have available, or some tools. There's a lot of tools out there, the tools that you have available to you. And then we'll talk a little bit about sort of responsible use of AI, and then get into a demonstration of Chat GPT in particular, and then also talking about some prompting. So I'm going to share my screen. All right. So, as I said, this first one, our first topic is really going to be about AI literacy. And so, really taking somewhat of a deep dive. We only have so much time in 45 minutes to be able to dive into some of these things. But let me introduce myself. I'm Dr. Tanya Featherston, and I am a certified AI consultant, and the director of training and business development at AIWURKS. And then we also have Dee, who's on with us, and I'm going to let her introduce herself once we get to the demonstration part. So she is the AI tech guru, and so she's going to do the demonstration portion for you. So we will start with just an audience question because I want to kind of get into what your reason for being here is. So we know that AI is all the rage, it's everywhere. People are, talking about it all over, the internet and in personal conversations. Everyone's having conversations about AI. And so the audience question first is like, what's your goal or motivation for learning AI? And so what you can do is to just put that in the chat for me and let me know what your goal or motivation is for learning AI. And I will tell you a little bit about mine. So while you're putting that in the chat, for me, I guess almost 3 years ago now, my wife was really the one who really started to get me more into AI when Chat GPT really became a thing, and we both got accounts and started looking at it. She was much more actually before Chat GPT. She was very much into Mid Journey because she's an artist, and so she was always making graphics, and she was doing that with Mid Journey. And so, as ChatGPT came out and became more prevalent, then that was when she encouraged me to jump on. And then once you get started with AI and you see kind of the ways that it can help you do things so much faster and so much quicker, and even with putting this presentation together today, Dee and I were talking about again how you can just get things done, especially as a business owner. And I'm sure we have a lot of people who are solopreneurs. You're a one person business, and I've been there before. I've been a one person business and have run, businesses that had hundreds of employees. And in either case, we all want to be able to get things done quicker, and in a more productive kind of a manner. And so AI is definitely the tools. AI has a lot of tools to be able to help you do that in a small business. So in the chat, D, do we have any, give me just one example of someone's motivation for learning AI or being in this workshop?
So one motivation is so they won't be left behind. So I guess it's that FOMO type thing, the fear of either being behind or being replaced.
Okay. And that's definitely a thing, right? Right now, there's a lot of people who are pushing the FOMO piece, and you're going to be left behind. You're going to be left out if you don't learn AI. And so, what I say to that really is that one, there is an AI revolution that's taking place, and it really is disrupting and shifting and changing how we go about a lot of things that we do in our lives. And so, I don't really buy into the whole fear piece. of, pushing people to do things because they're afraid of anything. But I will just say, to keep up with what's happening in the world, then it is important for you to learn AI. So it's the same thing when we originally got the internet. And if you're old enough, if you're old as I am or older, then you remember when the internet became a thing. And people were questioning that and trying to figure out, how does this work, and should we be doing this? And I can even remember my dad saying, oh, that sounds like the devil, because my dad was a pastor. And so, people were concerned about whether or not, this technology that everybody was describing was good for us to have. And then, we all jumped on, started learning it, started understanding what it was and what it could do for us. And then, my dad ended up being online and working on computers, and so did, everyone else. And so this is just like this. I heard someone the other day liken this to when electricity became a thing and came into houses. And a lot of people were like, what is that? And do we need that? Because people were used to gas lamps and those kinds of things. And everyone got on board with electricity because it was a good thing. Yes, it has its drawbacks, it has dangers to it, but we learn to understand what those things are and to protect us from those things. And so it's the exact same thing with AI. It has its drawbacks, it has its dangers, but AI literacy is all about understanding what those drawbacks are, understanding what those dangers are, and then advocating to protect ourselves from those things while we're using this tool. So let's jump into, and like I said, we're going to go through, we're going to have a deeper conversation. So hopefully we'll alleviate some of that FOMO for you, and you won't have a feeling of missing out on anything. And, we have a perspective of growth here, that again, this is like an opportunity for all of us to grow as who we are in human beings, as who we are in a technologically advanced society and world that we live in. So the first thing that we're gonna, when we talk about AI literacy and sort of understanding what it is, AI literacy is really all about empowering us as individuals to engage in artificial intelligence technology effectively. So we want to be able to do that in an effective way. And so the first part of it is just understanding the basics, right? Getting familiar with AI concepts is an essential part of AI literacy. So the one, and there, we're not going to go deep into a lot of these things. I'm only going to cover 3 concepts as it relates to this. And that is, what is AI? Like sometimes people will ask me that question, what is it? And basically it's just computer systems that perform tasks that normally would require some level of human intelligence to do it. So these computer systems have been trained to perform tasks that normally we would do, and they're capable of solving problems, making decisions, sort of higher level things that humans were once thought to be the only ones to be able to do. And so understanding, the key to the sort of basics of it is just understanding AI's capabilities and its limitations. So I hear people say all the time, like, oh, it's like a magic wand. And I thought so too in the beginning. When I started using AI, I'm like, oh, this is like magic. You can get this stuff, you just put in something and it spits something out real quick. But as you get a deeper understanding of it, then you understand that, again, it has tremendous capability, but it also has limitations to it as well. And so the perspective that we take here at AI Works is that we want to help everybody and teach everybody to be AI assisted. So it's not taking over for us, it's not replacing us in a lot of sense, but it is going to assist you in doing your job better. So, you've seen a lot of memes and things like that about AI is going to take your job. Well, the truth of the matter is probably a person who knows how to use AI will probably be the one to take your job if your job is taken. So you have to sort of make sure that you upskill and reskill yourself so that you stay up to date and relevant in your job, in your business, and allow AI to assist you in what you're doing. So the second piece of AI literacy is exploring AI applications. So there are tons of AI applications that are out there. There's lots of different ways that real world applications where AI is being used. And so one of those AI applications that we have is virtual assistants. So sometimes people think that AI just started we're just like it's just coming of age right now, but it's like no, we've had AI assisting us for a number of years now. And so virtual assistants is one of those examples where we've had Siri and Alexa for a number of years, and we've been talking to Siri and Alexa and asking questions and things like that. So the virtual assistant use for AI has been around for a very long time. Recommendation systems is another use case for AI. So we have recommendation systems, and you know that those play out around us constantly because anytime you watch Netflix, when you turn it on again, what does it do? It recommends movies for you, it recommends shows for you based on things that it knows that you've watched. That's all AI that's in the background doing that. When you buy something from Amazon, it recommends products to you, right? Every day, Amazon gives you products that it recommends based on things that you've purchased. Same thing with social media. All of the social media sites give you recommendations. They send things to you based on what you're searching and what you're looking for. And that's all AI working in the background. More interesting ways that I like that have come up now is using it in vehicles. So autonomous vehicles or autonomous driving vehicles. So Tesla, for example, Waymo, the cabs. I'm excited to try out one of those. They have them here in Phoenix. And so, you can just jump in a cab and there is no driver. Typically, it's AI that's driving it and it takes you around to where you want to go and drops you off. So that's sort of a newer wave of using AI in vehicles that we have. And then the last one that we're going to talk about is generative AI, and that is using AI through text-based or voice-based features to be able to create text for you, to be able to create graphics, images, video, those kinds of things. So what most people are using AI for right now, using tools like ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, Copilot, and all the ones that are out there. So the last two pieces of AI literacy is really about learning the ethical implications of having this type of technology. And so we know with any technology that comes about and that advances in our society, we all need to be really aware of like what are the implications of using this thing. And so if you look online now, there's lots of debate around using AI and sort of the amount of electricity and water that it requires in the data centers for us to be able to use it. And so that's, becoming more of a prevalent issue. Is something that we should have some understanding of. But also, people are talking about privacy when it comes to using AI tools, which I think is a more close to home ethical implication that we need to understand. And that is, when you're putting your personal information into any of the AI tools, then understanding those tools specifically to know, is there an option for me to turn off sharing my data? Is there an option for me to turn off sharing my personal information and exposing my privacy? So just knowing again that there are ethical implications to using this type of technology, having responsible usage of the technology. I know that one of the, again, cutting edge kind of ways that it's being used now is in therapy. And so therapists are using it to take their notes and things like that. But the AI technologies that have been developed to help them write their notes and things, those technologies are being developed with standards in place, but you still have to realize that again it's sharing of personal information through these tools. And so even with people now substituting, like example of, I think Wendy told me about not too long ago, or maybe it was Dee, where somebody was using Chat GPT as like their personal therapist. And again, it can provide you back with information, and it can be a very self-reflective kind of a tool where if you've used it enough, it remembers and it's, categorizing sort of the things that you're saying to it. And so then it can use that to reflect back to you information, to give you additional things about yourself, or ideas of like things that you can do. But I definitely think that it's not at a point where it could become anybody's personal therapist. And so you kind of have to look at, everything that it provides back to you. You have to sort of think about it, just like you would anything that any person said to you. It's like analyze what it's saying back to you, and use yourself. That's why we say AI assisted, because it's combining your own, knowledge with the knowledge of AI that's where the powerful combination comes in, and not just you relying 100% on AI to do things for you. So the last couple for AI literacy is enrolling in AI focused courses and enhancing your particular knowledge and skill, and then engaging in AI communities. And so we're going to have an opportunity for you to check out our Skill Studio as an AI community and course that's combined together to be for you to be able to sort of continue. But there are lots of platforms and resources that are out there to help you build your skill. And that's where we're at the age now where, again, this is just getting started, and it really is about upskilling and reskilling. So every time I talk to somebody who's employed in a particular job and they're, worried, just like Dee said in the beginning, you have that fear of something, either causing you to be downsized or losing your job. Every time I have that conversation with people, it's always around, are you upskilling and reskilling yourself? Because if you are adding to your skill set, then it makes you much more competitive. It makes you much more likely to stay in that job than it would be for you to lose that job. And so I think that's the key place where we are now, is making sure that you're upskilling and you're reskilling yourself. Okay, so our next thing is, and I want to talk a little bit about sort of the old way versus the AI way. So we have, and again, if you're my age, you're sort of ingrained with doing certain things a certain way, right? But there's an old way that you can do things, and then there's an AI way that you can do things and have a new approach to it. And it really does take us to sort of recondition ourselves to think about, oh, how can AI assist me with that? And so, again, that's a phrase that we use often with each other, is like, could you get AI to help you do that? Can you get AI to help you do that faster? Better than maybe what you would do on your own, instead of sitting and thinking through and taking a lot of time, especially when you think about like writing. And so that's the first category, is writing. And this says individual emails, but writing anything. If you've ever written a book, if you've written reports, dissertations, all those kinds of things, you're sitting staring at a blank page and trying to figure out where to start and where to begin. But with AI, you can have a thought partner. You can have AI sort of help you to start generating ideas, and you're not necessarily just sitting there staring at a blank page. So the example here is writing individual emails. So in the past, the old way was we would type up individual emails, and that's basically how we got emails done, right? But if you've got to send a number of emails, then there are AI automations now that are sending emails to you, and it's not that person sending you individual emails. And we've had AI automated emails for quite some time now, creating presentations and forms. So this presentation, for example, I had AI assist me because I like to use a certain software that has like this doodle effect to it. And I spent time learning how to put these little doodle people and all those things together. And they've integrated AI into that software now. And I don't have to do all of that manually. If you use Canva, it's the same way. You don't have to do a lot of those things manually anymore, because it can create those things for you in a much quicker fashion. So scheduling meetings, again, before we used to do it all manually. So you had to send out invitations to things. You had to make sure following up with people, making sure that they're coming to the meeting, that they know all the details for the meeting or the event. Now you have software, AI software that can do all of that for you. Researching information online, the old traditional Google search, but you had to go to different databases and things like that to do Google searches. Now you can just go into Chat GPT, you can go into some of the others, and you can just ask it to sort of pull in, summarize, synthesize for me all of the sources that are available on this particular topic. And you can be much further along your way, much faster than you having to go to each one of those individual sources. Data analysis and reporting, same type of thing, summarizing things. There are now with books and things like that, sometimes if it's not something I want to read the entire book for, I'll ask it to just summarize this for me and sort of give me the highlights. even sometimes before I buy books, because I want to kind of know, is this really something that I'm interested in? And the last one is customer support via phone. So again, handling customer inquiries, whether it's returning emails from your website, you have chatbots now that can do that. You have chatbots now that can return phone calls for you as well with clients. So again, you don't have to have as much time doing that sort of follow up thing with your business as you would have if you were doing it the old way. So I'm going to pause right here and just take a question of when you think about, I want you to think about now, like things in your life where you're like, oh, maybe I am doing this the old way. And is there an AI way that I could actually have this be done? And if you want to share, you can either do it through the chat, or if you want to actually unmute yourself. But let's just talk about a couple. And again, I'm every day I come up with different things that I'm like, oh, I'm probably doing this the old way. And I could really look at AI assisting me and helping me to do this.
Hey,
Hey,
so one of the ways that I use AI, and you mentioned it writing a book. I've created my book with the help of AI assistants, and also with music. I created a soundtrack for the book. I think that's leading edge, right? We had soundtracks for movies, why not have them for books? And it's all AI assisted. And another fun way that I moved out of doing it from the old way to the AI way is recipes. We all spend a lot of time figuring what we're going to eat, what's for dinner, you know, and so one of the things that I do is I take a picture of all of the food in my pantry and my refrigerator, and I ask Chat Tina, which is my AI, I ask her to give me recipes for all of the foods that she sees and give me any missing ingredients that's needed to make the food, to make the item. And I want you to give me a grocery list, and I don't want repeating meals, right? But utilize all of the ingredients. And so that is a few of the ways that I use the AI way now.
okay. And those are actually really good ones. A lot of times, we do spend a lot of time trying to figure out what we're going to eat, how we're going to prepare that meal, those kinds of things. And you can get some assistance to be able to do that. I love the music piece because that's a growing way that people are using AI is to create music. And whether it's, what they would consider novice people who are not, technically musicians or singers or songwriters, they're using it now to be able to express the music that they have, but also actual singers and musicians are starting to learn to use it as well to create their music. So that's definitely one I'm watching to see just how far it grows with people being able to use it that way. Okay. All right. So the our next section is going to be about actually demonstrating and using some AI. And so there is a perfect prompt formula that was created by another AI expert, Jonathan Mast, that we use here because it's just a really simple way for you to prompt. Because once you start using the AI technology, it all starts with prompting. It all starts with you asking the AI tool to perform some act, to do something for you. And so they have this thing about garbage in, garbage out. Like what you put in influences what you get out. So you want to make sure that you're giving it, that you're defining the expertise that that particular AI tool needs to have. So how is it acting? So I always, remind myself to tell it to act as something, act as an expert, a real estate expert, act as an expert accountant, but you've got to have it acting in some particular capacity before you start telling it what you want. Then the next thing is providing context. What background information can you provide it? If you have some detail to enhance its understanding of where you want to go, then it helps it to give you a better output. So for the real estate example, for a startup real estate investing company. So you're letting it know I'm a startup real estate investing company and I need you to act as a real estate expert to help me then create whatever it is that I want to create. So specify what your goals, clearly articulate what you want to achieve from this prompt. What do you want assistance with? And so for this example, I said, provide me with a 6-month plan to purchase multi-unit homes in the Knoxville, Tennessee area. So I'm giving it context. I'm telling it, what I want it to provide me, where I want it to provide me, how long this plan needs to be. So again, you're combining your knowledge and expertise, knowing what you want, with the AI tool and its knowledge and expertise to be able to get you the best outcome. And so the last thing is clarifying questions. Ask me clarifying questions until you can complete the task. So I think sometimes people, and I'm going to let Dee take this part, people jump into the AI piece and they just kind of blanketly say something, but then they get an output and they're like, oh, that wasn't that great. And it was like, okay, sometimes you have to keep iterating. You have to keep asking it questions and to redo and to give me a better output so it gives you the best desired outcome that you want to have. So this short formula, and again, don't worry about the slides because we're going to send these things to you in the email afterwards, and you're also going to get the replay. So our next piece is going to be, I'm going to stop sharing and Dee is going to share and go through the demonstration for you. And the tool we're going to use today is ChatGPT. And as we go through and do these, we'll also introduce and use more tools. But because this one is one of the most popular at this point, then and the most widely used, then ChatGPT is the AI tool that we're going to use for today and for our next 2 workshops.
Can you see the screen?
Yep, I can see it.
Awesome. So we're going to walk through 4 different examples. And so the first one is starting out as a beginner that is brand new to AI. So here's an example prompt to where you could say, act as a friendly teacher who explains things simply. So that's in the prompt framework. That's the role that you're giving it. You're asking it to be a friendly teacher. Your context is going to be that you're brand new to AI, you've never used it, and you wanted to explain what AI is in a way that a 10-year-old can understand using a fun example. For example, a robot helping with homework. Your goal is to understand the very basics without jargon. So no technical, speak about what AI is. You just want it in basic layman's terms. And then ask me clarifying questions until you're sure I really get it. After your first explanation, start by asking me one simple question to check for my understanding. That piece is really important because you could say, ask me clarifying questions, and then it can roll off a list of questions consecutively. So if you're brand new to it, you would want to take it one by one, like give me one question, allow me to answer, give me the next question. Alrighty, so now we're going to submit it and see what we get. So it's given us 2 different responses. So you can choose which one you prefer. I think I like the shorter one. We're going to prefer this one. Sorry. It says, think of AI, short for artificial intelligence, like a really smart robot helper. Imagine you have a homework robot. You say, hey, robot, can you help me write a story about a dragon and a pizza shop? The robot doesn't know the dragon or the pizza shop itself. It hasn't seen them in real life, but it has read a lot of books, stories, and information. So it mixes all the knowledge together and comes back with, once upon a time, a dragon opened a pizza shop where the ovens were powered by fire breathing. That's AI. It doesn't think like people. It doesn't have feelings, but it's very good at spotting patterns in what it has learned and giving you answers, ideas, or help based on that. And then, so it's going to do a quick check on you. So it says, if you asked our homework robot to tell you a bedtime story about cats in space, what kind of thing do you think it would give you back? So then you could say, I think it would give me a story about a cat that's an astronaut, or a team of cats that are an astronaut. And then it'll give you a response as to whether or not your thinking is correct based on the example that it gave you. Any question? Alrighty. And next example is kind of like a personal use example, how Wendy spoke about with meal prepping. So if you're in a hurry, it's a weeknight, you have no idea what you're going to cook, then you could use something like this. Act as a meal planning expert. I'm a busy parent with limited cooking time. I want a 3-day dinner plan that's healthy, budget friendly, and under 30 minutes per meal. Please also create a shopping list. With this, you could also say, I have ground beef, I have chicken legs, I have broccoli, and I have rice. You can specify what you have in your pantry. You can give it the ingredients that you have on hand if you're not able to go shopping and you want to use the resources that you have on hand. The goal is to save time and stress during the week. Ask me clarifying questions about my dietary preferences, family size, and kitchen equipment until you can give me a complete plan. So it's going to ask you the questions. What's your family size? We can just say 4. Dietary preferences. I'm going to say I have a peanut allergy. Protein preferences. Let's say you had chicken and beef on hand. And then kitchen gear, we're going to say a traditional stovetop. And then it's asking, how healthy do you want to go? So balanced family meals versus more health conscious, like low carb, gluten free. And we're just going to say traditional. And there we go. Day 1, 1 pan garlic, herb, chicken, and veggies. Day 2 would be beef and veggie stir fry with rice. And day 3, ground chicken taco night. So you have your 3 recipes here. And then here's your shopping list with what you need to grab. Any questions there?
So I don't have a question, but one thing that I like to do when I get my list, I ask it to create me a downloadable PDF. So that way I'll have it and not have to go back into chat. So that's one of the things I like to do.
Yep, that's helpful. Or, ChatGPT does have a mobile app. So you can grab and go on the go. You could always reference this conversation while you're actually shopping. All right, the next one, we're going to do a work use case. So this one, we're going to have it act as a corporate communications expert. You need help making email sound professional but still friendly. For example, you can put in a draft, hey team, just a reminder to finish your reports by Friday, thanks. So somebody might be like, that's, it's common language. It may not be professional enough for some people. So you could say that your goal is to send a more polished message that motivates the team without sounding like stiff or rigid, like you're demanding that they do it. And then please ask me clarifying questions about my audience, tone, or purpose until you can rewrite the email in the best way possible. Alrighty, so it's asking us questions about our audience. So who we're sending the email to. Why have I hit it? Okay, that's fine. So you may run into that. Just if you're using the free plan, which I am for this, because everybody doesn't have a paid plan. So, and if you're just starting out, you don't need to. So ChatGPT just recently rolled out a new model. So if you're on the free plan, then your generations with GPT-5 are limited. It just means you're going to use an older model. You're still going to be able to get the same response because you're using the same prompt. So our audience, the tone preference, our purpose, and our context. So we're sending it to direct reports. Tone preference, we want it to be warm and encouraging. Purpose, gentle reminder. And then 4, how often do you send these types of reminders? We can say weekly. So see, it gives you a subject, friendly reminder, reports due Friday. Hey team, just a quick reminder, you have reports ready to have your reports ready by Friday. I really appreciate all the hard work you're putting in each week. Thank you. Let me know if you run into any issues and need support, and then your name. So not just you saying, hey, get the reports done, but you kind of reinforcing that you appreciate them. You know that they have to take time out of their busy day to complete the report, but you really appreciate that they do it and it doesn't go unnoticed. And so much better, I think it would be received a lot better than just the general uh, sentence that it originally had with just a reminder to finish your reports by Friday. That seems like really generic. Any
Well,
questions?
with this one, I think it's a good use case for people who are in supervisory roles, administrative roles. I know I've coached a lot of people who are in those types of roles. And one of the things that came up often when I do coaching with them, a lot of times is if they're having difficulties with employees. And sometimes it's like, even when I talk to the employees on their side and they're like, well, they don't know how to talk to people, or I don't like the way they talk to me, or they sent me this email and it felt like, they were saying this, or, people read a lot into emails and things like that. So I
Right.
think that just the fact that it, starts to look at what tone do you want to have in this email. I think sometimes when we're responding to things, and I know we've all been in those situations where someone sent you an email, you read it, you sort of read certain things into what they were saying, and then you want to instantly kind of respond back to them in a maybe a more negative way or a stronger way, and doing something like putting it into and saying, maybe, help me work through, like, how should I respond to this, how, what are some options for me to respond to this. I think that's a good use case for people in supervisory roles, because it maybe will help, to build better relationships between people if you kind of have somebody or something. And I know they used to, as a coach, kind of bounce off of me, but this is sort of a real time way that you have someone there to sort of bounce your ideas off of. So I like this one.
Yep. And then if you were crafting an email, you can say, hey, this is what I have so far. I want this to be, well received. I'm sending it to an employee that I kind of have a rocky relationship with. What, suggest improvements to where this wouldn't trigger them and, they would see it as a collaborative effort. All righty. So our last one is we're going to use a business owner as an example. And so our prompt is going to be act as a small business strategist with experience in local marketing. I own a neighborhood coffee shop and want to attract more customers. My goal is to get 3 creative, low-cost marketing ideas I can try within the next month. Ask me clarifying questions about my target audience, budget, and past marketing attempts until you can deliver tailored recommendations. So let's see what he gives us. So target audience, we could say adults, local to the area. Budget, let's go low. At 50 past marketing attempts, we're going to say social media posts. And then the last one, it says shop personality brand. So we're going to say modern and artsy. Alrighty, it came up with some pretty good ideas: a photo contest, a local collaboration wall, and a happy hour sip surprise. And so you could easily say, I don't like any of those. Can you recreate these? And you can keep asking it until it gives you something that you would be comfortable with.
And I think those are, I mean, they're, pretty
Mhm.
different ideas. The local collaboration wall, I like the idea of collaborating with either another local small business, a musician,
Yep.
an artist, somebody like that, so you're leveraging their networks to bring people in. So again, this is one of those things where, when you're talking to most small business owners, you really are sitting there trying to come up with ideas of like, how can I get more customers in? What can I do, to increase the foot traffic that's coming through my cafe? And you have an easy free tool that you can use to be able to help you come up with ideas, things that may have never thought about. So, and I definitely love the happy hour sip surprise
Yep.
type of thing. So, and again, it's the iteration. You can, like Dee said, you can keep going back and forth and saying, give me more ideas. Maybe there's a particular direction you want to go with the happy hour sips. And so you're like, let's explore this more and, give me more details as to how I can implement this. And so again, it's a back and forth, it's constant conversation between you and the AI tool to help you get the best outcome for what it is, the desired goal that you have.
Absolutely.
Okay. So is that it for the demo for today?
Yeah, that's all 4 examples.
Okay. All right. So any questions about the quick demo? We wanted to just use this because this is the beginning of the series of workshops. We tried to go like super basic for someone who has no knowledge of Chat GPT, and also because we're going to provide this replay to people, then we want to hit people who have no knowledge of Chat GPT all the way up to someone who is a business owner who maybe has been using it and it's a little bit more complex and of a prompt to get them the desired outcome. But and also to show you that it doesn't really matter your experience level either. You could be like, I have no clue, I have no idea. And we can assist you with simple prompts to get you started. And if you've been using it and sort of playing around with it, but you're like, now I want to use it in a more powerful way, then there's also assistance with helping you to craft prompts that are going to get you, a better desired result. Okay. All right. So I'm going to do one last quick share and then we're going to be done for today. Now, 45 minutes went by really fast.
Yeah.
It always does. But our goal is to keep it short as well so that we're not taking up too much time because we know time is precious for all of us. So to end the workshop for today, one, I want to remind you that we're going to have, this is a series. So next Wednesday, we'll be back. And for that series next Wednesday, we will be covering productivity and sort of how you use Chat GPT in particular and a custom GPT that we've created to called Dex, that's the productivity assistant to help you really sort of hone in on your day and help you achieve your goals on a day-to-day basis of being more productive, getting more done in less time. And so in what we're doing at AI Works, we basically do two things. We do AI training, so training similar to this one, and then we create custom AI tools. So those are the two things that we do. So we, to address the AI training aspect, because there are tons of trainings all over the place. You can get lots of training from lots of different people, but we wanted to put together something specific, the AIWURKS Skill Studio, specifically for people who really want to kind of take a deep dive into AI in one space and really learn different AI tools and sort of how to use them and apply them in your life, whether it's personal or whether it's in a professional manner in either your job, if you work in HR, if you work in finance, communications, education, whatever your job may be, and for the business owner. So for a business owner who may want to use AI in what it is that they're doing in their particular business. So the AI Skill Studio is it's an ongoing membership, but the way we decided to do this one was we're doing like 1 year memberships, and we'll also have a plan where you can pay monthly, but right now we have a 1 year membership plan. In that 1 year membership plan, what you're going to get is it's really addressing all of those pillars of AI literacy. So you're going to have a space where you can come in and there will be like on demand trainings that you can take, but there will also be a lot of live workshops and training. So our goal is to really sit with you, to walk you through, and to really help you learn to use the AI tools in a very specific way to you as a person or to you as a business owner or an employee. And so, and again, we'll have those two things, but there'll also be community that's involved in it. So we'll have a community that's there so we can talk to each other about our use of AI, the ethics portion of it, and sort of what we see happening in our community as it relates to AI. And then there's also the earn portion. So this whole series, and we're all about learning AI, but also it's a great opportunity for us to be able to earn from this, for us to be able to support our businesses and earn from this, but also to be able to learn AI so that it could possibly become your job, learn AI so that it could possibly become a business for you. Or from our perspective, there's an earn as an affiliate opportunity. So our goal is to really have thousands of people come into this AI Skill Studio. And so in order for us to help facilitate to do that, then we are offering an affiliate opportunity for you to become a part of the AIWURKS affiliate team. And then as you share this out with people that you know, and they decide to join the AI Skill Studio, then you have an opportunity to earn a percentage of their yearly membership for yourself. So right now it's at a discount. It's 50% off while we're doing this series of workshops. So the Skill Studio for a year membership is $498. Right now it's 50% off, so it's normally $996. And Dee is going to drop in the chat a link for you to be able to make the purchase. And then we're also going to send it to you in an email as well. But I'm going to close it out while she's doing that. I'm going to close it out with just like, it's important for us, particularly in our communities as Black and Brown people, to really become AI literate, for us to really understand the technology that's out there, for us to take advantage of the opportunity to use this particular technology. Is one of those things where you are hearing people, again, when I looked at a LinkedIn survey that they did, and they talked about the number one skills for 2025. The number one skill for 2025 was AI literacy. So that's what companies are looking for. When people are talking about that they're having a hard time, finding jobs, if they have lost jobs, you being AI literate, you having some skills in AI to be able to use that if you're a bookkeeper, no matter what your job is, that's an important skill for you to have now. And so we wanted to create a space for you to be able to come to learn those skills so that you can upskill and reskill yourself. Education is one of those things. They're making mandates now all over the place about the Department of Education and teaching children AI. And my thing always when new stuff comes out is, well, the adults need to learn it first before they can teach it to the children. And so this, though, because it's moving so fast, both of those things are going to need to happen at the same time. The kids are learning it and we're learning it at the same time. And so in order for teachers to stay up and to stay relevant to where they need to be, then they're going to need to start to learn it as well. And so again, it's everywhere. It's all around us. It really is an AI revolution, as they're calling it. And so I am passionate about this because I want to make sure that our communities aren't left out of this conversation, and we don't choose to not be in the conversation. And then so much of this technology gets developed, but it gets developed without our voice, without our advocacy, without some degree of just consideration, fairness, and all of those things towards us. And I think it's just a great opportunity for us to take advantage of what's happening right now and really be creative, the creative people that we are. But it allows us to create so many of those things that we've already thought about making. Now you can do it so much faster, so much easier, and truly cheaper than what you could do it before. So it's an opportunity for us, and I want to make sure that we do our part in providing people with the knowledge and the skill that they need to be able to take advantage of what's happening. So I'm going to stop my share, and I'm going to